Now here's the driver's seat. It was all dyed and wiped down. Well, these seats are dry, so I've got it all completely first coated. Got it propped up here. I used a whole bottle to do both seats, and so I don't remember whether I had one or two coats, but I've got another bottle open here. I'm going to go ahead and cover this and see what it looks like, and then we'll go over to the passenger seat. Now here's the driver's seat. It was all dyed and wiped down, starting to get a pretty dark red. Of course, it's an old seat, and I've got my little plastic pieces. I started dyeing them, and it's going to take a while. The passenger seat here looks pretty good. Getting better every time. I've used almost my whole can of dye. I've got a little bit left. I've only got one coat on the bottom of this, but it looks like one bottle of this stuff will do both seats, one coat. I've maybe got oh, there it is there. Maybe a quarter of this left. And I've went over both seats. So I've got enough to put a couple more coats on some of this plastic that only got one on. And I ordered another bottle. This is getting to be awfully red. One of the things I found about putting this on, I'm putting it on with a dauber, and it's dissolving the bottom layer. So I think you either gotta let it dry a couple days or put it in some heat or something. It's cold in here, but it's taken off the other layer. The other thing might be to take a little spray gun and just spray a real fine coat on there and then let it dry. But it's turning out okay. I'm not an upholstery guy, so I don't really know whether it's good or not, but it's all one color, and I'm getting it covered. So we'll see. I'll let this dry, and then a couple days my other dye will get here, and that'll give it plenty of time to dry. Well, I tried a little small spray gun and coated this thing again. It's got a burgundy looking color to it, which is not what color the dye is, but it's sort of tying into the car's burgundy. And these plastic things weren't really taking the paint very well, or the dye, so I sprayed them, and I can put a real light coat on there, and makes it kind of red, and then I just barely hit it with a rag. But the seat's getting darker. I didn't spray this one over here. You can tell it's not quite as dark a red as the other. And I didn't do these two plastic pieces, they're kind of burgundy. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I ordered another bottle of this stuff. So instead of trying to put a coat on there with a rag, I'm going to spray it, and it'll give it a deeper color. Let that dry. But the seats are almost the color that they're going to be. In fact, they look pretty good actually. This one here is getting real dark. So my dye job's good. Now I get in here and finish up that carpet in the front. I'm going to go ahead and try to put this driver's seat in. And when I go to spray it, I'll just mask everything so I don't get a lot of paint everywhere or dye. But I think that's good enough to see what I'm doing, and I can press on with getting this rest of this carpet in and all of that floorboard glued down, and press on. Well, I got this panel done. I'm gonna do a little more for this YouTube channel and explain a little more, and probably try to show you a little more of what's happening. Well, I got this this panel pulled out here. I don't know, my zoom's messed up. Yeah. Anyway, all of this stuff is padded. You can see the difference here, and there's a foamy stuff under it, or furry. And it didn't like to stick very good. It's got a tape on one side and some fur on the other. You can see the edges here. And it didn't really want to stick down, and this tape wants to come off. This is the side I glued wrong. So what you want to do is take your vinyl and cut it off. You can see here where this one's got padding in it. I cut all this padding off. Now this will stick really good to your surface and won't come loose. Up here on this is the top. You know, I just used that all the way across there because it's so much work to try to cut that padding out. But this thing will go in now. You can see my carpet down there on the floor. It's kind of wadded up. I need to cut off that one piece there. But panel goes in. I got a lot of room here. You can see I can move it around. So, you know, I did have it mounted, and I drilled these holes. There's one here and there's one here. And that should hold that panel straight. But I had to cut a notch up here in the top because it was with the carpet and everything in it, it was pushing it up too high. So probably these holes are too high. I was going to cut the board off, but I think it'd be better putting that all together and then drilling my holes. So just a little tip to you. You know, I mean, it's a good idea to put your panel in and where it wants to be and drill your holes. But I would suggest, you know, small holes. Don't go to drill your final mounting holes until you get all the carpet and everything in, because it will move stuff around. And you might not think that's a lot, but when you're talking an 1/8 of an inch of carpet and an 1/8 of an inch hole difference, that snap ain't going to fit. So anyway, so I got that done. Now I'm going to get up in here and cut that carpet there around where I got the wires coming up. I did a pretty good job there. And I'm gonna, yeah, this comes out real good now. So I'm just gonna get some of this insulation, and I'm just gonna stick it in here. Yeah. I'm not going to try to do it in one piece. I'm just going to do a bunch of little pieces, whatever I can get to. I still haven't decided what to do with this door here. I can get it to open, and so I could, you know, once it's all figured out, I could cut a hole in this thing here and make some kind of a gasket or something to accept the air. Do it on both sides, but that's down the road. Right now I got to cut this corner here, get that mess out of there, and I need to start insulating the firewall. You can see I put one piece on there, so I got to do that all the way across. I don't know what to do about that ignition box, whether I should go behind it, or I mean, it'd be easier to put one big piece in there and then punch a screw hole in it, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to just put down what I can and leave the rest. I can spray that with glue, and I'll cut that carpet out right there in the corner so it's not, this light's really not showing you what's going on. But you can see the carpet's pulled up right there and kind of bunched up, and I need to just cut that out of the way so it's not interfering with anything. Probably right down on the bottom, and then I need to split it right there where those wires are, and take a piece out of there. I don't know, there's going to be some kind of wrinkle here in the center console, but I'm going to nail the corners down, and then when I get over there to the middle, I'll figure out whether I need to take a slice of it or what I need to do to get that to fit right. Anyway, I'll get this cut out of here, and we'll press on with insulating this stuff. By the way, here are the two standoffs I made. This is a good one here. I just cut a bolt that was way too long off. It goes through real nice. This one, I had to cut the insulation out. I can barely get a nut on that. But that's the inside of the seat. I don't remember which way these things turn. I look awful crooked here. Oh, because this one does move around. Anyway, they look pretty good. I like watching Div, the Rat Rods Africa. He's quite a worksman. Yeah, he really makes good stuff. Anyway, I got to get this mess cleaned up. First thing's insulate it, and then I can get carpet over it, and then it'll look a lot better then. I did a little cutting right there in the corner. Took a few square inches of it off. And I got the majority of everything that was holding anything. It sealed it real good, and it's kind of flat. So I think that's good for now. I'll start tightening up that tunnel. I'll get the air gun and staple that somewhere so I can see what I'm doing with this. I'll work with it a little more. But anyway, that panel goes in there really nice and easy and straight. The other one's kind of a forced fit, but I still didn't get to Putting my insulation in, that's what I gotta do. Okay, I went ahead and finished covering up all this stuff here. That one over there, I was trying to get it to stick to the metal, so I didn't cut it right. But this one, I just cut a big piece, 12 by 12, and just stuck it over the whole thing. But this is all good here now, and my panel's gonna go in it good. I just noticed that I need to glue the inside of it a little bit more. I didn't finish it up. I'll do that now. And that one's good. The other one, I glued it real good and tight, as far as I can tell anyway. But I'll get this put in here, and then I can measure for a piece of carpet to go across this front piece here, and try to get it cut without chewing it up too bad. Well, I've got this carpet, I just sprayed a little glue on it and stuck it to the insulation. You got a couple inches down in there in the bottom. I'm going to cut this off. See, the carpet goes all the way up there, so I just have to cut it right here so it'll lay down flat and match. And then I can finish up this around the gas pedal and stuff, and finish up that over there with the wires. But I'll cut this piece here now, and that'll fit good and tight. And move along and see what this looks like. I got the excess trimmed off there, as you can see, a couple inches. It's kind of hard to cut this like this. It's much better to put it outside on a board. I still have to trim up where it goes in behind this. I'm not sure what I got to do there, but it's flat. And now I can move on here to this other side and see what I can do about getting it in the right place and glued in, and do my final cut on this side. Okay, I got that sorted out and glued up here on this side pretty good. I probably need to cut it a little around the gas pedal, and I'll have to find another place to mount that fuse block. I lost my hole up in there when I did all this, and I got a little trimming to do here on the top, but the carpet went in real good. It's going to work with my kick panels on both sides. They'll go over the carpet and hold it down. I got to trim that tunnel up, but I think only thing that's going to need is a couple slits and some of that extra cut off. And then this will be pretty good. Don't look bad anyway. And now I can button this interior up. Sill plates and stuff like that I can always do later. But I want to get the seats back in it. I'm waiting on the dye. I guess it's good. This has been drying for 2 or 3 days with that last coat. But I'll spray these two seats, and that'll be a final deal on that. And then I'll put the seats in, and all the scratches and stuff like in here, this is all from trying to dress the door. Eventually I'll just get some more blue paint and touch all this up. This is kind of a navy. I can match it without getting the exact color. And this is starting to look pretty good. Once I get some trim strips on it, I may do that instead of trying to use those buttons. Just put some nice aluminum trim strips on there, and we'll see. But there's the floorboard is mostly completed. I just have to trim it a little and figure out how to fasten it good. So we're moving along. One more step. Small step for mankind, giant leap for me. It looks like I could use a little, like a little 3 or 4 inch piece right in there to cover up that door jamb. I'll make that, that'll be easy. These are all holding good. Doors are still closing good. So, I mean, it's taken me quite a while to get this carpet cut and everything. I still gotta cut the back, but now the front's all nailed down. This will be basically a real simple matter of flipping it up. I can get a board under it and cut it straight. And my standoffs are painted and dry for the passenger seat, so I'm basically waiting on dye and finish up this little bit that I got left, and then I'll put the seat in, and I'll have to hook up the electrical. That shouldn't be hard at all. I'll have to cut a hole in the floor, but that's easy enough. And this is all insulated now inside, so it'll be a lot quieter, and you know, not as much air coming through it. And of course it'll be a lot quieter because the firewall's all insulated too. And my next task, I'm going to have to get in here and figure out exactly how am I going to glue these window channel things in. I think instead of trying to put spacers in them and get them out there far enough, I think I'm just going to kind of put it in there and glue them, see if I can get a screw in each one of them, maybe, or two, and leave plenty of room for this window to go up and down. Anyway, once I figure that out, then I can do it over there on the other side. It's a lot tighter, so I can figure it out here. So that's the next thing up, is finish up this window trim. This was kind of why I was doing this, because once I glued all this stuff in, I don't want to be taking it out and messing it up, and I want to be able to get the window up and down. So anyway, that looks real nice, man. I'm just kind of admiring my own work. Nice door. Back looks good. Colors are all going to match real well. It's almost like it was designed and built that way. It was. Well, the carpet's mostly done. I got a little trimming to do right there on the right hand side, but I got it all glued up flat. I got my fuse box up in there mounted, and I started cutting out some of these wires that I don't need, but it's all just been sort of hanging here in a mess. I've got my AFR gauge wires. I've got the door wires that go across it. All the wires for the heater and the back pump. It's all just kind of hanging there. So I need to route that stuff. And then, of course, this is a terrible looking mess. Some of it can kind of clean up, but some of it not so much. So I've been thinking about making some kind of a cover that would go over that and just kind of hide all these wires. I could probably make it out of fiberglass easy enough. But anyway, I want to get all these wires done. This tack I never did run down through the dash. I just had it taped here on the outside. I've just got a lot of wires that are hanging good enough for it to run, but they're sure ugly. So that's what I'm going to do now, is start cleaning up these wires and routing them permanently. And some places I might have to make some little clips or something and clip them in and get this all tightened up. It's a slow, painstaking process. Well, according to the wiring plan, I had two wires here. One of them I got planned, the green one there, for the dome light. You see I've got it run across there to where the mirror goes. And I made a bunch of these little clips. Just a little piece of sheet metal I drilled a hole in, cut them off. And I've got this clamp good here, and clamped there in the corner, and then I also clamped it up there on top. So that's going to hold that wire up and out of the way. It's been driving me nuts ever since I've been driving this thing. And I think I got it all hooked up right. Keys on. And the wiper works. And the self shut-off works. So that's been bugging me for quite a while. I'm looking at how to cover this up. You know, this is like 1.5 inches wide. I think if I take a little piece of fiberglass and put a 90 on it, I think I can put a screw in it right here in the middle and just make a little plate that'll cover that whole thing up. And that'll look fine. I just need something just to cover that up. One screw should be enough to hold it. I can make something there, or even a piece of aluminum, but I think I'll try to make it out of fiberglass. I need to seal that window up on the outside. I didn't really finish that. But anyway, there's my wiper in, and I'll have to run this wire back here someplace, figure out what kind of a dome light. I don't even have one ordered yet. I need to put some kind of a dome light in here, and then I can try to do something about the roof. I thought about just cutting the foam stuff and just gluing it right in. I just realized it's going to have trouble going around that too. Anyway, works. Alright, I got those wires. I'd already drilled a hole in the dash back there, but I got those wires run through the dash. I was afraid there was going to be behind that speedometer cluster and make it hard to get out, but I was able to get them in. I've got it to a good ground. I had some pretty funky wires here that I had it hooked up to, but I've got it running to good dash power and got that wire cleaned up. I've got it to a good ground. I've got my coil on it, so let's see if I can. It should be able to. There's the power on. Yeah. The only thing that's in question is whether the tack itself works. But it does. I hooked the power into the end of the light because it's kind of hard to see in the daytime, and this lights it up real nice. So anyway, one more step done. All this ugly wires going up to the tack are gone, and cleaned this up a little bit. A lot of this wires hanging here I can tape up, and I'll probably use one of these little brackets I made or something to hook them up. Now I've got all this AFR stuff over here, and of course my door switch wire. I got to clean that all up in the heater wire. Anyway, I'll move over to that side and start cleaning it up. Now I've got this side pretty good. I've got my main hot and ground run over here, and it's pretty good here. I've taped it into the frame. It'll be fine. I've got my wires cut here. I just need to make an end on that red one and plug it into there. I don't remember. Anyway, I just got one wire there to hook up. And run it up around the dash. I can take a ground right there to the middle off of that one. And I've got plenty of power wires there. In fact, those purple wires back there that I cut out that was for the original heater, I could probably run one over there and just hook it into the positive. And that would give me a fuse for my heater and my air leveling. So if it goes out, you ain't gonna have a heater. And then that leaves the wires pretty clean. I've got that main yellow one there. That's one of the main power wires. I need to run it up around and kind of clean up this stuff that's just hanging. The gauge not look so bad now that all the wires are off of it. And I still have to figure out how my AFR meter wire is gonna fit and plug in and route, and get it all secure. We should be good to go. Well, there's my heater all wired in. I've got the power wire running up the inside here. Works real well. I just have to ground it here. Let me see if I can get it grounded with one hand. Maybe that'll do it. It's turned on. Yeah, let me get this thing working. I don't know what's wrong.